Hey guys, Mayflaw here, and I've got my planner going, and I am still working out the details on exactly how I want this arranged, but I did do a previous video with my ScanNCut showing you how to make a cut and decorated and layered up page. And that page, just to check in with that has held the sticky coat on top and everything. It has held up really well, even in the summer heat. So I'm really happy about that. But like I said, I want to make a clip. I feel like I want another clip. I like how I've got one clip here. I didn't make it. It was given to me, but I would like to make another clip, and I was thinking it'd be really super fun to have a donut for my section where I'm keeping track of the healthy meal planning and all of that. So what I've got here, so it kind of coordinates there with my planner, I have a scrap of glitter paper because yes, I have been asked actually, can you cut glitter paper with a ScanNCut? Absolutely, you can cut a lot of things with the ScanNCut, including glitter paper. I also have a piece of cardstock, and I bring these out together. These are just scraps. You guys know I love that about my ScanNCut, that I can cut any size and shape of scrap that I like. So these are actually pretty similar if you had your eyes closed and you're feeling them weight-wise, but this glitter paper is going to require a deeper cut because it's a little harder to cut. Okay, so I have these two scraps, and I also have a paper clip. The only other thing you're going to need is some nice strong glue. I think I'm going to go with hot glue, but I'm going to wait and see how this pans out. So I want to do a donut. Let's get the ScanNCut out and get started. One of my favorite things about the ScanNCut is it's so quick and easy to get going. I turn it on here, and then I'm going to go in here to patterns, and I already know that right up here in the foods, I have a donut. Now you could do any of these food patterns. You could also really do any number of patterns that are already in the machine, or of course you would also be able to do this not just with patterns in the machine, but any patterns of your own making. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out the width, and I know I want it, okay, so 1.77 is the smallest it says that I can make this. So since that's the smallest, that's what we're going to go with. And I want A, and I want 2 of them. And I'm going to say okay. And I have my piece of paper here, and it looks like I can of course scan in, but I can also see it's going to be about 4 inches in. I think that what I have here, the scrap I have here, is going to work out just fine. However, I never want to assume that. So before we cut, I'm just going to go in and push this button so that my ScanNCut, and I'm adjusting my machine so that it can actually scan in my scrap of material. So that scanned it nice and quick, but what I can see is that actually it'll all be better off if I actually just adjust these a little tiny bit, like so. And now I can go ahead and cut those out. Once those have cut out, it'll prompt me to select the next part. I'm going to go ahead and push that because we want part B. And what I love about this is it's automatically going to size it the size that we want. And we only want one of these because only one is going to be the front side of the donut. Now, there is one other thing I want to try here, and I'm going to show it to you. I already tried this. Now, when I went in to do these, this was the minimum size that it would let me make. However, and I'm just going to show you this, when I went into here, I can go in here and I can make this. Okay, so I made this one with a width of 1 inch. I'm going to make that with a width of 1 inch. And I want to see how that turns out because I'm a little concerned. I'm not sure if, I think 1 inch is too small, but I'm not sure if this size is too big. So I'm going to try 2 different sizes here. And you can do that with all the parts. You can do that with a lot of things. A lot of times it won't want to let you make the pattern small enough or to the size you want, and you can resize it. Of course, obviously, you get so small and you may not be able to have all the detail, but we're going to see how that works. So I have got my mat and I have my glitter paper. We're going to go ahead and scan that in here. So I've gone in here and added in my donuts. I've scanned in my material, and now I can just move these around wherever I might like. I'm going to say okay, and then I've got this set at 6.5. I believe that will do just fine here. I'm going to go ahead and cut. So all cut out here, and I'm 6.5 was great. You know, guys, when I cut, a lot of times I don't tell you where to set your blade. And the reason is it's going to change. It's going to matter where you're at. And what I mean by that is what kind of paper you're using. It's going to matter. How old your blade is going to matter. There's a lot of things. So me, I go based off what I think is going to probably work. In that case, it paid off. But what I am thinking here is this is a little darker than I want. I think I actually want it to be a more pale color. And I'm looking through I've got my cardstock stash right back here. I have white cardstock. That could work. So some pink. So I'm looking at some various options here. I think I'm going to recut it. The other thing I think is that I think it would be lovely. Yeah, you know what? I like the white. I really do. I feel like the white really makes it pop. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to say select the next part. I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to add that and say okay. Oh wait, no I'm not. Goodness gracious. Okay, so I don't want to do that. And the reason I don't want to do that, you guys know why, because I have to cut 2 different sizes and widths. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to go into here and right into here. And this is where I'm going to go to 1.25. I feel like somewhere in between these two is where I want to be. So if I set this to 1.25 or even, could even be 1.3. Yeah, let's be different. Let's go 1.3. Between these two sizes, I feel like is going to be the better size with my paper clip. I just feel like 1.75 is a little too big and an even 1 inch is a little too small. So let's go for 1.3. That's kind of splitting the difference there. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this. I don't want to cut both pieces because, as I've said to you guys before, we want to make sure we're cutting the right depth with the right materials. So super cute there. I like the size difference. I think that's going to be our winner. And guys, I can use all these pieces for various things. They don't necessarily get thrown away or anything. So I'm going back in here, picking that. Now this is, if you have hard time remembering, you may just want to make yourself a note of what part. What I like about this pattern is when I say select the next piece, it gets rid of the other pieces because it knows I've already cut them. So it cuts that step out for me. And we know we want it at 1.3. You might want to write that down if you're not doing it all at the same time or if you're concerned that you'll forget. And I've got a full piece of white paper here, so I do not need to do anything there, except I do want to go just below 4 for this particular white cardstock to cut it so we can assemble. Now that I've got all my pieces together, I definitely like, now that I have this clip out, the 1.3 size is really great. And I'm really loving the white. It's just a better contrast. Originally, I thought these two would be good together, but you know, it's just a much better contrast. So I want to set this so that the ends here, I don't want them under. And the reason I don't want them under is because they will move when I go to actually use the clip. So I don't want them to like harm the paper or cause the paper to last less, you know, make it fall apart quicker. I'm going to put a little dollop of hot glue in the middle there. The hot glue, because honestly, it's going to give a little dimension, but the other thing that it's really going to do for us, and then I'll put a little bit over the top, and we don't need a lot, just a nice little dollop in the middle. And then these two I glued together just with regular glue. We didn't need any, just tape runner. We didn't need anything fancy there. And then I'm going to gently press. Okay, and as I press, I'll just kind of adjust it to make sure that it is centered up, which it is. And then as I press, I can press a little firmer as I make sure I've got them in the right spot. Now, if for some reason, and this is one of the things I love about this project, if for some reason I slide it off, like there, I slid a little too far to the one side, it's a little off on this side, a little over, I can just trim that off if needed. But isn't that cute? I just love it. And I think to make it even more durable, I'm going to give it a little dip in some glaze, some glossy glaze type medium, because I think if I give it a little dip in that, it'll seal the edges, but it'll also give it a little even extra sparkle and shine. I hope you've liked this little video tutorial here. If you've got any questions, comments, feel free to leave me a comment. I'll see you next time.